Se escucha bien, ¿no?
Can you hear me properly? Are you listening to me? Well, hello everybody. It's a quarter to 7 or so. My name is Juan Garrido. Everybody knows me around here. They call me Juanito, the little guy from Seville, southern Spain. So many nicknames apply to me. Before moving to my talk, I would like to give a big round of applause to the organizers of the CyberCamp, especially the super cute presenter, the anchor woman, the security guys, the technicians upstairs. I know it's a quarter to 7 Saturday, but a big round of applause to the organizers, fabulous people doing their best. I would like to devote this talk to a partner, a friend of mine, Meme and Vale. Meme and Vale, big friends of mine, a partner, a couple, lovely people. If this couple, are seeing me, oh, this is my Thanksgiving action. The title of my talk was Auditing the Governor's House. Oh, such a beautiful name. Now we're named as Auditing Your Active Directory. Let's talk about the Active Directory services. So many topics. This is the main topic we're going to see and develop and break down. What is an Active Directory as of today? The type of architecture, the life cycle of an intrusion. And let's attack and attack and attack and attack and to reach some conclusions. It's very simple. An Active Directory is, how can I explain it to you? When a company moves from being small to medium size, when we talk 1 to 25 employees in this medium-sized company, as a general rule, there's no problem at all because they don't have too much infrastructure to be governed and ruled as of today with the on cloud-based service. You can organize your company in this way. When you're moving from the medium-sized to the big company with big infrastructure, you need to govern this infrastructure from middle points and external points. These services generate a logical structure with all the elements we're going to have over there, and they're going to classify it, a structure, sort it out on a specific place in a structured way. I will give a basic example. When we go into a company, when we join a company for the first time, they will give you a phone, they will give you a printer, a laptop, and access to the database. So all this information has to be structured in such a way that makes sense, because let's imagine, in case we are leaving the company or taking my laptop or my phone handset or whatever, I need to organize this information. So this service comes into play here. We need to govern this service inside the company. So in here, we are going to have some policies with which we're going to define what kind of access these people are going to have, how this human being is going to interact with this machine, what kind of privileges and issues he's going to apply. For this purpose, we have some rules and regulations within this service in order to govern and rule this company properly. In the very end of my presentation is what we can see on this picture. Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice. No. Oh, I got it wrong. No. Oh, where's Superman going? Over there. Basically speaking, this will be the main conclusion of my presentation. So far, so good. There will be a structure of directories where we have a company totally sorted out a structure, arranged structure with employees from Madrid, a new organizational unit, all these sites over there. A company dealing with the services in a small city will have a totally sorted out structure. We go with a mega big company organizing software information and electronic devices within the company from different countries. This super big company will need a biggest structure. Here we can see information related to the administrators. Here we'll get these administrators users with these machines and PCs working on. Let's imagine more things because it's in testing environment. We can put the telephone, the printer, with all the things we want, and we're going to govern and rule all these things. So in remote mode, we can eliminate all data when an employee is sacked out of the company. When somebody lost his mobile phone, we can cancel it, but not having the company's data and provide it with a new mobile phone, we're going to manage it with this kind of services. So far, so good.
Aquí llegamos a un problema, que es cuando empezamos.
All right, we have a problem here. The problem appears when we start to integrate services from one place to another. We have an arranged structure, but in general, most of the companies want to or need to integrate third-party services. When they do so and when they buy third-party services, then the third party says, okay, I will integrate with your infrastructure. I don't need to create users because you have already done that. I don't need to manage machines because you're already managing them with this device. And then all that is integrated in this service. And what happens is that this service is one of the least audited services in the company. Often databases, websites, or any other type of services, voice IP is more often than not audited. But this is a basic service where nearly everything goes through it, all the infrastructure goes through it. And as I say, very little audited service because belongs to the IT infrastructure. And this is a perfect target for attackers. And actually, most of the attacks that we may have seen on TV have been carried out through a service of these characteristics. Why is that so? Because here we will find information about relevant people in the company. So these are some of the pieces of news that I gathered on the internet. China. So this is a piece of where one of the account of one of the administrators was located, was found. They breached it and then they got into the organization. When someone breaks into the system, the thing is that the system that this person finds is arranged, is in an orderly manner. So if that person wants to attack the person that has the money in the company, this person will be very easily located. So this is one of the problems arising from not strengthening this type of service. Another problem that we may have could be this one. Okay, because sometimes we go and say, oh, the hackers that breached the system, they are the smartest guys in the world. So I'm sure that you have heard speakers saying that most or many cases, well, hacking is done for a very minor reason. For instance, we have the prince, and he looks very happy, and then we can see these notices, okay, or these papers on the wall with the password now. And I don't know whether you have heard ISIS this year and how ISIS hacked Le Monde. So everyone got really scared because ISIS said that has just hacked the TV. So if we are now realistic and then if we analyze what happened and when that happened, we will find that there was a journalist that was being interviewed, and then all the papers that we can see behind him are just the password to access to websites. So at the end of the day, the person, the attacker, just does some research and that's it. That's as much as he needs to do. So this is like interesting as well. So this man, okay, and notice the password behind him. And all these photographs are published, are posted on the internet. And then we have this Super Bowl. So the Americans, they spend lots of money in that and notice the password. The thing is that there will always be a person behind the camera. So, okay, look, there is a person over there recording this, my presentation. There will always be someone making a video. Okay, this lady is also doing a video or taking a picture. So therefore we have a big problem. So we have to strengthen this type of services. And whenever credentials, users, passwords are just breached, we will go into a first phase of auditing. So this now we will be on the left of the screen. So that's the start. So that's the start. And here we will look for credentials. Then intrusion will follow. And then by the time there is an intrusion, we have to move internally. We have to understand the internal infrastructure, why this service has been placed here, what is the value of that user, etc. But we are already inside, okay? We will just stick to the first part, okay, which is what is of greatest interest to us. And what happens here? How could I explain that graphically? Well, an attacker will look on the internet for as much information as possible about the company. By the time they gather that information, the attacker will attack as much as possible so that anyone falls in the trap so that he can gather information about users. When that information is gathered, the attacker will continue to attack and attack and attack up until he finds one of the equipment or an intrusion that will allow him to have full visibility against one of the central servers, which is the server that shows on top. So if that type of service is accessed, we are in deep trouble because the attacker will have full access of the organization. And I repeat, in an orderly manner. And now we go into welcome to my world. So now we want to audit the governance house. So this type of services has also other services that are listening through a number of ports, and then the attacker will have to discover this type of services and try to breach any of them. So this is based on DNSs and architectures. And we will go right away to the source. I'm just going to do a small test. So 20 more minutes for my presentation. So instead of using my machine for that, I'll go right away to Shodan. I'm sure that you heard about Shodan these days. Shodan is a website with a compiling nearly all the services that are in operation on the internet. So we get both past information and about present information. And that information will help us carry out our auditing. And, well, the attackers will also use these very same services to find information. So for us to find Active Directory services, if we know that that is being listened through that port, the port that I've just typed in, port 389, Shodan tells me that 225 and 140 results are found. So if there is anyone in here against the Americans, I'm not against the Americans. I love Coca-Cola myself. Here you can go right away to the US, and in the US they tell us that there are 96,000 bags. If you go to Spain, we will have 1,900, over 1,900. So that is to say, websites that have this service that I say at the street level, meaning on the internet. Again, if we go right away to the US and we go to government sites, we will find 78 of them. We have telecommunications services, Connecticut State, Charter Communications. So, a list of sites. So, I looked into some of these websites and I found a very interesting one. Let me show it to you. So I was not sure whether we would have an internet connection or not. And okay, see you. Oh, probably. Okay. Okay. I will zoom in because the video is not working. Okay, you can see it better now. This is an IDAP. I know that there are police forces here, and I know that it will take some time for the Americans to report on this. Okay, so we are talking about the report of Homeland Security, that is to say the White House. So notice that there is nothing here. And then you go and say, how come are you logging here? Well, like a hacker. No password, no nothing. What for? Why do you need a password for? And now we go right away to the person who's got the money. And that is the Department of the Treasury. Okay, we just log on there. So we will see the ATF here. ATF is one of the big US departments. Then also the Tobacco and Tax and Trade Bureau, they also have lots of money. And right away we will go to the print. Okay, those who print the petrodollars. Okay, if we just log in. So people have devices and people classified in these folders. So if we look for the stuff, how many people are there? $2,897 people working in the print. If we click on some of them, we will get information such as his name, family name, country code, email, department of the work, number of that department, serial number. Well, they have just included the serial number and then the user's certificate. And that certificate will help this person to authenticate himself, to do things remotely, etc. If we want to go beyond that, we can just copy the name, open the internet, go to LinkedIn, so that you know LinkedIn is good for your ego. Actually, I called myself Great Emperor on LinkedIn. Okay, I noticed he's the CEO. Okay, he is Michael Wash. Okay, because we have access to the users. Okay, that's him, Michael Wash. Okay. So by the time we will do the search, okay, so we will have his email address, the department where he works, the ID, his postal code. As well as his serial number, which is the same as the UID number. Okay, so we have already found information which is in good order. Okay, I will close this screen, okay, and I will stop it there. So as you will see, if that is not properly configured, that will allow me to access those services only with a reading privilege, but I can do very many things with that privilege. So here we haven't seen all the information that is actually stored in this site that will give me information about the user, the equipment, the service of a printer, of an organizational unit, and all those things have to be audited. Let me give you one more example. All right, so when you set up a service of this kind, imagine like a huge company with thousands and thousands of employees. And when you have to change the password of all the employees, is just very, very overwhelming and difficult. And that actually Microsoft bought a company and implanted it within the Active Directory, allowing to change many things just easily. So just allow the system administrators just to do a click and to change the password of 4 million people in one go. And what happens is that if we have a reading privilege, that will help us find the password chain. As I said, the password chain in the organization. When we find it, if we go to the location, and then we open the XML. And notice that we will have a credential, but this credential is encrypted. But when Microsoft bought this company, gives out documentation for the product. So when we read that product documents, we find a paragraph that says as follows. Let me find it. Oh, I don't have it with me. Well, but the paragraph says, that you should know that this product has an encrypted key and that we will give that encrypted key to you. So that encryption key will let us make a script to implement that key to decrypt it, to encrypt it. So this is very simple. A child could do it. By the time we will have our script, the only thing that we need is to look for XML files, and then with the embedded password that we have plus the document that we got from Microsoft, that will help us get the key. So if the password has been changed to 4,000 users, we will be able to gain access to 4,000 passwords very easily. So, but don't use that pathway, okay? There are many other ways to do so, but if you do it in this way, this is very easy to breach. So you have to do things, but you have to do them rightly. So 9 more minutes for my presentation. And we have to do things rightly. So last year, I launched a tool and I called it Wire. So it gives you an active directory that is analyzed, and then the information is presented in a logical manner for an auditing, because we are talking about thousands and thousands of objects. So I had 9 minutes, 7 now. Okay, this is quite a simple tool, and because I don't have much time left, so we will go right away soon, and then we will just retrieve reports. This will analyze the directory. The directory is small. It has over 100 users, and notice how fast it did it. So if we go to the file, so we will have all that information in a structured fashion. So it's 722. And then, for instance, the passwords that we saw before, we'll see them here now. Because I'm a very lazy person, I said, okay, pass it on to this file. So if everything goes well, so notice that all this information is displayed in an Excel sheet. And this Excel file could also be used for our report. And this looks beautiful. And now we will have everything that we need. So for instance, if we need to send to the CDO or the person dealing with the technical information, if we need to show this information in a more graphical manner, we will be in a position to say so. We could go and say, look, this is what you have in your organization. You have 7 domain administrators. So short ago, I found a company that had 160 domain administrators in a company that had 400 employees, and that is a problem. And, well, that's all. So, conclusions and learnings, and I'm finishing. A good security plan can never be outsourced 100%. We always have to keep part of it in our company. We have to continue adapting to the life cycle of your company, and at the end of the day, you should train your employees because they are the ones that will use it. And, well, from me, okay, so this is the end of my presentation. So I finished 5 minutes ahead of time. Do you have any questions? No questions? Oh yes, there is a question. So when you logged on as an anonymous user to the US server, has that server an account for a guest's account? No, that's the service that is given by default. At the end of the day, that is using an adapt service that was created by the bit. All the services based on adapt, that based on that, the Linux and the Microsoft one. So then each of them, okay, change it accordingly. So by default, you are given some authentication and certification methods. You have the anonymous one and the one that is credential based. So the Microsoft, you may have noticed that I did it with the US one, but I didn't do it in my machine because in my machine, Microsoft based services, so Windows Service 2013 doesn't allow you to have any anonymous authentication for this type of services. So what we've seen about the US is based on Linux, okay? Because I believe that allows you to do like backwards certification, okay? And you can disable it as well. Hello, my friend. Any questions? Well, I can see that you have lots of questions. Okay, one more question there. So the password that is kept encrypted, is it reversible or it is just a hash? Yes, it is symmetrical, so it is reversible. it is backward reversible, and then Microsoft publishes the key in one of the documents. You can look it up on the internet. The name of it is Group Policy References. So there is no domain reference or anything. No, Microsoft, when it publishes the services, it says this is the service and this is the key. Why does it publish the key? Well, Microsoft could have given you the key and could have given you something, or could have given you the chance to change it, so that each company has a different one. But I understand that when it bought the service, it was so difficult for it to change the key. They would have to change the architecture, I believe, and I believe that's the reason why they didn't do it. All right, so there is another person there. All right, one more question and I finish. So, how would you block access to this type of password or to this type of login? You mean to this type of malpractice? Okay, this audit would allow you to do so. Actually, you can download the tool on the internet. The name of it is Wire. And that tool allows you to get to the company and to say, look, these are the results of our auditing. This is not the best practices that you can implement to operate, to change the password. Do not use that functionality again to change the password. And how do you stop that? By ongoing auditing. The script is very simple to run, and then if you get an alert, okay, well, there you have it. Or perhaps you could block it with Alien Bomb or with SIM, or perhaps create IPS, IDS. No, with Alien Bomb at a given point in time, well, that may generate some kind of a rule to you where some kind of alert could be triggered, but you cannot really block it because it is a functionality that is fully dependent on the service. It is in the kernel of the service. You cannot really block it. How can I put it? You cannot really eliminate or stop, like an employee is well aware of that, and you cannot stop a person to do it, but you can prevent it. You can just issue rules, you put them up in your dashboard, and you will have graphical information about that. And that's as much as you can get from it. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, that's the end of it. Big applause for him. And another applause for her. She's very beautiful.